I'm seeing people who a few months ago were writing dissertations about Drake saying, "Why are you on stage twerking like with a dictionary?" And those same people are going, "All you do is rap big words." It's like, what? Like that's literally the same. How did y'all turn into that? Any person who claims to be a Kendrick Lamar fan right now, you do not have to like Lupe, cool. But if you're acting like Lupe is whack, you could even believe that. But because he raps too rappity, he's too complicated, you're not a Kendrick fan.
That shit up. I don't even. This person's rapping about hustling, but he's barring that shit up. Some niggas rap about rapping and they bar the shit up. The concepts are changing, but we could see the skill is there no matter who's talking. And that's all I'm trying to make apparent, is that the skill part of it is the thing that we can recognize level. This is where I'm supposed to tell you to like and subscribe and hype this video, the King Green channel. You know what I'm talking about? This is my music channel. This is my culture channel. This is just whatever the hell I want to talk about. So if you enjoy this journey, this is my channel. And go check out the music too. King Green versus Screwface. That's what this is right here.
And I got green on. You ain't even peep.
I peeped it. Hip hop. You know what I'm talking about? But reason why we're talking and we're gonna have a healthy debate as well as just run our mouth is because of this lyricist conversation, which is amazing. Like we were saying, talking about off camera, that the fact that we're talking about this MC nerd shit is amazing.
Facts.
It's incredible to us. Like we've been starved. This is what we do outside the YouTube space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so to have a conversation. And that's kind of what. So the first thing I want to do when I was watching your video, there was a clip where you were like, you responding to the peer review concept. Before we go into the video, you started on the peer review concept where, like, I feel like you were saying, like, sometimes if we get too heady and you're being all technical with your raps and shit like that, you might miss the audience, right? I think that was your point.
Not with the raps. I was saying more with the conversation of raps, because remember, I was responding to when Loop and you guys were saying sometimes we need to have these conversations off cam. And I was saying that the conversations, not the raps themselves being complicated, I'm saying the conversations about the raps, I feel like don't need to be in public. I mean, private. Now, of course, you could do whatever you want, but it was just the need to.
The need.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of respect. And this is the only thing I want to address. Because we know, like, you were looking and you were going through the stuff, and Lupe, you were like, we asked a direct question, and Lupe would deflect from the standpoint of you're watching it. But it's like, Lupe's in a whole different other position than a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
He's an MIT professor, and he's also talking about Nas, right? Mm-hmm. And you know this. As MCs, I like this analogy the best, is we're all like samurai, right? Mm-hmm. When a samurai meets another samurai, there's a code. There's obviously a number one level of respect and honor, right? So it's like when I see the reason why I'm talking to you and I want to talk to you about shit is because I heard your music. I heard you rap. So now I know, it's like I don't need anything else. It's like I've seen you fight. I've seen you in battle. I know that you have the scars. I know that you have the skill sets, right? So I'm going to have that conversation with you. When you have that conversation with people who are not samurai, basically, like common people, they may implement bias into the conversation because of how they perceive the work, because they don't really know how, what was the shit? They don't know how the shit is baked. They don't know how the shit is cooked, right? So they're only seeing the cake and be like, I love red velvet cake. This shit's amazing. But it's like, well, it's easier to make than fucking whatever. I don't know cakes like that. So it's easier to make than the other type of cake. But they like, oh, but I like this better. I think that certain conversations, when you're talking about this without having the actual language to communicate to the audience, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. And I think that's what happens. I think with this whole thing we're having, I think it's about like, I'm hearing something that Lupe's saying that people ain't hearing, but it's his communication style that's making people be like, oh, you ain't really talking. But you said Nas ain't a high level lyricist. I'm like, no, he didn't. He didn't really say that. He didn't say that at all. And I can show from these clips where I'm coming from with it. And I ain't even caping for Lupe. I'm just saying, like, this is how I understand what he's trying to say, even though there's a point where I don't agree with it, which is what you're also saying, where it's like the point where I don't agree is like thinking that punches is the end all to be all, or the highest form or something like that. But I do think it is foundational, if that makes sense. But let's play this shit real quick. Let's play this fucking
skill. Will take some time, but it doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist at all, because he's Nas. Like, that's crazy. But if you start to is when you compare him to just like punches, the guy said it himself. Nas don't have a lot of punches, right? He don't have a lot of like bars like that. Compared to like a Chino XL IT, which is
Well, I should be playing the shit that you was. I'm supposed to be reacting to your shit. We supposed to do React Inception, where we reacting to you, reacting to us, reacting to.
Then before we go any further, I got two questions. Well, one question, one thing to say. Let me say the first thing is, I am probably, before we get into too far, I'm probably one of the bigger Lupe Fiasco fans, especially his first 2 albums. Like, I don't even think
classics.
People, but those did something different for me. You know what I mean? Like Lil Weapon and something like that, like from my background and everything. So I don't want it to come off like, I feel like some of these platforms that Luke goes to, not yours, these people are clearly just trolling him. And maybe he's not catching it all the time. So I don't want it to come off like I'm the anti-Lupe, you're the positive Lupe. I'm just saying, as like we said, two rappers, just a combo, just so people know, like, just to clarify that.
And that's how Lupe would take it when you're talking about the raps, right? And then there's a passionate way of talking, which it comes to a different space where you just show them respect. So before that, no, but anyways, in that statement right there, you reply, which I don't know if I find the exact moment on your video, but in that statement, what I'm saying, he just said right there, he said that, first off, this is my thing. He said that doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist. What do we think? What do we believe that means? That does not take away from Nas as a lyricist, the fact that he doesn't do punches. But if we were to rate him on his punches, he wouldn't be high on the punches. He literally said that does not take away from Nas as a lyricist. So I don't get the statement of people being like, people say Nas, he literally says Nas. So what does that mean to you?
Well, see, the issue with a lot of stuff is he was doing a lot of double speaking. I actually went back and watched this and took notes, actually. So I swear, no, here's the part where he did say that. He did say that Nas wasn't. This is what he did. He said, because, and there's a lot of weird times where he would throw in like the word if, and it would be like weird because he would be doing the thing he's saying if, so to the person listening, it's confusing because it's like, wait, what are you saying here? But so what he was doing was, he said, Nas is not a top tier lyricist to him because he doesn't have bars. One, I mean, he doesn't have like the punchline style rap. One, and he even said he wouldn't put himself on his own list top up as a top tier lyricist because of that. But him just saying him just saying that doesn't take away from him as a lyricist doesn't make sense to the rest of the stuff he's saying, because he is saying it takes away from the lyricist by what he's saying, because he goes on to later explain why to him not having bars takes away from him as a lyricist. Just because he said that thing, and that's where it goes, like he kind of double spoke a lot, but the majority of what he's saying besides that one line is you could even let it play, is that
I'm gonna play your version so we can also hear your commentary and shit.
Compared to like a Chino XL IT, which is all bars. So if you're rating it on bars,
go a little bit back, because remember when he said
it doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist.
Okay, right here. Play right.
Okay. But if you start to is when you compare him to just like punches, the guy said it himself, Nas don't have a lot of punches.
Okay.
Right? He don't have a lot of like bars like that.
And like you can even see in Lupe's corner, he thinks he's making a point right here. Like he thinks that he's exonerating himself or like clearing his name, but it's like, nigga, Lupe, the question wasn't, because he's acting like the conversation is, why does Lupe keep bringing up Nas out of nowhere? That's what he's speaking to. Nobody is saying that, nigga.
Compared to like a Chino XL IT, which is all bars. So if you're rating it on bars, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, Chino XL.
Okay, stop right here. And then this is the gaslight part where he goes, well, maybe I'm about to say it, but like this is one of the parts where he uses the word if, and it confuses the whole sentence, because he said, if you're rating bars high, right? Yeah. Then that's why someone like Chino XL would rate higher to him. That if is confusing because it's almost insinuating like it's a hypothetical, but he's doing it literally. No, you are, Lupe, saying that since you rate bars to a certain point, these people cannot be up there. And then he also says because there's like 100,000 rappers and so many people who are just barsmiths that he does not rank those people. I mean, he can't rank even himself or Nas as top lyricists because there's other barsmiths. And he's specific about bars. He goes on to explain it.
Yeah, but if you're ranking about bars is saying in this instance, in an instance where you are ranking from punches, Nas and myself wouldn't be ranked high because I'm talking about the technical part of lyricism. He also, that's what he's saying. It's not, so it's not him getting away from the conversation. He's literally, like you said, he said, if you are ranking this, but you're like, oh no, but you think that. He didn't say, I think Nas is not as great as a lyricist because of he doesn't have punchlines. He's saying that punchlines are a technical skill. He says this is a technical skill, and if we rank just punchlines, he's not going to be high ranking, and I won't either.
So here's a quote that I got. Lupe specifically said, "How I grade a really great rapper is it relates to lyricism, and when it relates to lyricism is, oh, do they have punches?" Yeah. So that means. Okay, so that means that the if is not necessary there, and that's why the if almost feels like it's a way for him to act like he's not saying that, but he is saying that. The if is like, because it's like, what do you mean if you are? What people just want to know, right? And even Tori was trying to get it is, do you think Nas is a top tier lyricist? And he goes on to explain why he doesn't. That's all he's doing.
That's not what happened at all. Okay, people want to know, do you think Nas is a top tier lyricist? That's where we're at now. That question,
because
Nas doesn't have punches. The question that we're looking at that he got in the middle of his conversation about punches, right? So he completely said that punchlines are what he rates to rate an MC. That's his foundational thing. Mm-hmm. Which to me, I'm saying you think that too. We all think that. Yeah. If someone does have a punchline, we think that they have a skill set. We're talking about actually creating your own punchline.
I'm saying, I know what you're saying, like repeating punchlines you've heard. What I'm saying is it's about the degree. Lupe has that being, like you said, in the way that his system is, which is, like I said, his prerogative in his system. He could do whatever he wants. It's a barbershop conversation. We're speaking about, like, say someone said that barbershop, I'm going to speak to why that is a flawed system, in my opinion, because you're putting so much on one aspect, right? That if I hear somebody with a dope punchline, you got to know I love battle rap. So that's what I do. But I cannot just, even in battle rap, the best battle rappers aren't the people who just go punch the punch, the punch, the punch, the punch, the punch, the punch. I've seen those people die to people who can just actually just rap, like a Loaded Lux. Loaded Lux doesn't go punch the punch, the punch, the punch, the punch. He's more like a rapper. But so since he's placing that at such a thing, he is saying Nas in his system is not a top tier lyricist because he plays that. And I think what most people are saying, and even in that super chat, the reason why Nas was brought up is that is a flawed system in their opinion, because then it makes somebody who I think is obviously a top lyricist not a top lyricist by one almost. It's not arbitrary, but when you put it that high, it almost becomes arbitrary because it's like, yeah, but I've also seen people.
Let's move off of what Lupe's saying, kind of, and let's have the actual conversation about lyricism, because we could go back and forth about interpreting what he's saying when he would have to be the one to say what he needs to say.
He literally, I promise you, he literally says it, but okay. Yeah.
Literally says what exactly? Because you said one thing, and I'm saying, like, I'm hearing from, because I'm remembering the entire conversation or listening to the whole conversation, and I'm like, he just finished saying, doesn't take away from Nas as a lyricist, but we gotta delete that idea, right? So that, but he double speak, that statement doesn't matter.
No, it's not because he double speaks. The statement doesn't matter. It's because the majority of the conversation, he's contradicting that. So that double speech doesn't matter. It's like a politician almost, where it's like you're saying two things, but what you're really saying, because when you go on to explain what you're saying, and like with the quote, is you don't rank him high. That's what just people, and like I said, it is just a barbershop conversation because that's his prerogative to have it that high. But people are gonna just debate like you don't have. If you said that in a barbershop, if you said that in my barbershop, niggas would stop cutting hair and be like, what? Like the music would stop.
Hold on, I wanna get to another part too, but like I said, I want to get to the conversation. You're saying that it's negating one thing, and I like I said, we have to pull it up, but I want to get to the conversation of simply technical skill. All right, there's technical skill part of lyricism. Because lyricism, like I said, how I believe in, let's try to get at the same definitions or at the same base level. I think lyricism is communicating emotion. It's just that simple, with words. That's what lyricism is. Now there's levels of lyricism in my point of view. And I use the same thing in the video where I said, if I write a bar that says, I miss you, it's just, I miss you. It's very direct to describe an emotion. I miss you. Someone could be like, I really felt that, because they relate to missing somebody. Just because it's the rap chorus is just, I'm gonna miss you. The second one is, I miss you like the desert, Mr. Rain. These are all choruses on purpose too. That's a simile, like the desert, Mr. Rain. And then I use the Jay-Z line of can't see it coming down my eyes, so I gotta make the song cry. Not a simile. It's a personification, right? So you're using personification to describe so much and has so much depth. So complexity in that line is what I'm talking about, and that goes up the line of complexity. But the base level of showing your complexity is a simile, especially within our culture as MCs. Wouldn't you agree with that?
It's such a nebulous idea because there's base level. Because what is base? Because there's a lot of base
simile level. or a metaphor is at the base level. Because what is or you could say
is it like the base level because it's like the most basic way of being? Oh, okay. Because I was thinking too. Because just like you were saying, because there's like simple. Because if lyricism is feeling right and make you feel way, there are super simple lines that have made you just feel the most. And I mean, like, it could be like some elementary, like, and that to me is also base level. That's why the conversation of what is lyricism kind of is a real difficult one, because there's so many elements to what it is.
How is it? We have language. This is the thing. It's like me, the way that I talk and articulate shit right now, I didn't do shit when I was fucking 18, 19, 20. I was just a fucking nigga. I was like speaking to this shit, the way that we mixing up wordplay with this and using all these words. As I studied and thought about it more, there's language, descriptors and definitions for the different parts of what we're doing to be able to describe and articulate this shit. So when I say the blanket idea of lyricism, you're like, it could go in so many ways, but the blanket idea of lyricism really is expressing emotion through art and poetry. That's what you're doing. I'm trying to convey to you with my words how to feel or how I feel.
Make you feel something. Because even so I would probably agree that is the best definition I've heard so far. Because even like a simile or a punchline makes you feel something. That's why you go, ooh, or like you go, like if it's a good one. So yeah, I would say that's probably a great definition of lyricism.
The one thing though I want to add, and I'm trying to get to the simile thing to you, is the one thing when you say you hear a basic line, I said, like a pun. Usually puns are stupid; they're dad jokes, right? But someone could use a pun and that shit's hot. Like the businessman, you could look at that as a phonetic pun or whatever like that, right? The other one is when we expressing emotion through the words at a base level, like I said, it is I miss you. Like, oh, the snake, the cat, the rat, the dog. Like my man is just naming animals, but we felt the fuck out of that shit. And here's why I'm going to say that comes to it's because of what we're doing in a culture is what you call rhetoric. Rhetoric is the art of using your speech to persuade, because that's what rap is. That's why it's so powerful. Well, that's why you listen to a song and you're like, I feel this nigga, because he's using the power of persuasion to make you understand. And persuasion isn't manipulation. A lot of times people think about it like I'm just saying like, oh, they're making you think of something that's not exactly there. Sometimes it cannot be there, but sometimes they're making you see a different angle. That's the power of persuasion. That's the same thing. Kendrick persuaded everybody to be like, that nigga Drake's trash. You know what I'm saying? There's people who are listening to Drake on Tuesday that were not listening to that nigga the next Tuesday. So that is rap, right? But it's a cultural version of that. So what I'm asking you is like, when you hear, if somebody just told you an in-depth story in their writing, and there was no technical bar, like a simile, no literary
like
device,
like the story. I would say like Slick Rick's the story. Yep, it's not really technically crazy, but like it's just like a simple story.
It's a story, and it's dope as shit, and it's a skill set. Mm-hmm. If somebody told you that same story, but it also had bars and it had the same emotional effect, it just, to me, I think it's objectively harder to write. Correct?
Facts, yeah.
So that's how we rate the level of technical skill. But that doesn't mean just because you have the ability to do something harder. It's like this. It's like if you shot a 3 and it's harder to shoot a 3 or whatever, but you can get, let me make it a simpler analogy would be something like, just because it takes more effort to do something or it's harder doesn't mean it's better. That's the simplest thing we got. So we understand that. So that's why I disagree with Lupe in the sense of like I don't think that this person is a better rapper because he could shoot better. It's like a guy who could shoot threes crazy. Steph Curry, is he the best player ever just because he could shoot threes better than everybody? He's the best shooter ever. He's not the best basketball player ever. That's how I see it. When I see an MC who could do all these lyrical techniques and all this type of shit, you are incredible at that. But that doesn't make you the best MC ever. And I think even Lupe would agree with that. And I think that's the general point where he was talking about, like, look at these guys. They're the best shooters ever. That's how I was interpreting that shit. Could you see that he may be saying that shit? Or you feel like it's like, nah.
I think he absolutely
agree with it.
I agree with everything you said about MCing and lyricism. I literally agree with, just because I tell people that all the time, and that goes to the people who be like I don't know if I should say this, but one of the clips you put in your video, you'll never understand how hard that made me laugh. And there's going to be people who absolutely positively go, oh yeah, this nigga died laughing. But you don't even understand what you justified by that. But I'm saying, like, the people who do the extra rapid but don't be saying nothing, to me, that's why there's certain rappers to me that people be like, they're they're simpler, but I think they're doper. Okay, so for instance, a person that I look at that, Kodak Black, to me, is a very slept on lyricist. Because niggas think like the drugs are
I agree with
definitely,
you. I agree with
messing them up. But like if you listen to Kodak rap, beyond just the pain and his stuff, he uses punchlines. That's why I understood Kendrick's wavelength when he jumped on a song with him. I was like, no, people don't get, because he's not using the big words, the multi-syllable. People aren't going to hear the lyrics. So I 100% agree with that. Just because it's more difficult to shoot with one arm tied behind your back doesn't mean you're a better basketball player, because you can do that. I get it.
Yeah.
But I absolutely don't think that was what Lupe was saying. I think Lupe Fiasco was saying, and I think he kind of clarified it, that he puts bars as the alpha and omega. So since this person doesn't have the back-to-back stuff, not only does he not rank that person as top lyricist, he doesn't even rank himself in the top lyricist because of that.
Yeah.
And which is, I think, kind of proof that's a flawed system. When your own system, you can't rank yourself top because of, and I just think that as on some, like I said, I love Lupe. I think one thing I do want to talk about is I think there's this weird hypocrisy going on with Lupe right now, that it's the Stan War stuff is just like, it's making me cringe out my body, because it's like, I'm seeing people who a few months ago were writing dissertations about Drake saying, "Why you on stage twerking like with a dictionary?" And those same people are going, "All you do is rap big words." It's like, what? Like that's literally this. How did y'all turn into that? Any person who claims to be a Kendrick Lamar fan right now, you do not have to like Lupe, cool. But if you're acting like Lupe is whack, you could even believe that. But because he raps too he's too complicated, you're not a Kendrick fan. I don't even
entertain like the idea of certain MCs being whack. I don't even want to have a conversation about it, because it's senseless. But I do want to have this conversation about the stands, because I see this too, where it's like, you see my channel. My channel is literally me just expressing my perspective on this shit, as well as other things. Like I want to talk about hip hop, I want to talk about film, I want to talk about whatever. I'm just expressing myself, and I try to articulate myself to synthesize things simply. And then people will be like, come in with their like stan culture mentality, whether it's Drake stan, Kendrick stan. The Kendrick stan is getting closer and closer to the Drake stan by day.
It's crazy, because the thing to me that it's becoming just a cult of personality, because I go, wait a minute, the snake is eating its tail, bro. Like if you are on social media as a Kendrick fan, making fun of any rapper for rapping. I saw somebody talking about, because he just be doing like, all he be doing is fanciful concepts and shit. I'm like, nigga, Kendrick has an album where he's like rapping as like a Tupac butterfly. What are y'all talking like? What are you talking about? Like this is the weirdest, where it's like, this is where you start seeing the people who never actually were listening to Kendrick and just jumped on because this thing is, because like I said, you don't have to like Lupe. You could dislike what he says, but even MacWalk just came out and said even Kendrick still puts Lupe high. And if you are a rapper's rapper or a lyricist, and I've been a Lupe
impossible.
Fan, it's impossible to not put Lupe. It's impossible. It's impossible, because I don't believe you listen to Emperor soundtrack, you turn around and go, yeah, that's whack.
This nigga can't rap. This nigga can't rap.
Yeah, then you're not a rap fan. I'm sorry. If you listen to Emperor, you can say I don't like that. But objectively, that is one of the greatest writers we've had. And I'm sorry, but you're not going to make fun of a nigga rapping with concepts. You're not going to make fun of a nigga rapping complicated. You're not going to make fun of a ribbity rapping nigga when, and then say that Kendrick's your favorite, because Kendrick's actually my favorite. So that's where I'm not understanding. Now,
I love the comparisons between Kendrick and Lupe, because it's like they're very similar in a lot of the ways that they attack songs and conceptually and stuff like that. It's just that Kendrick has a different artistic vision and artistic identity that's very, very clear. And that's why we love Kendrick so much, is because how great of an artist he is. And that's another thing that I want to go into, as far as like, if like a 6-year-old kid made a bar saying like, yo, I I was raised hard. I never believed in Santa Claus or some shit like that. And then now the kids feel him because oh, that nigga's hard. He never believed in Santa Claus. That's that to someone. Remember, this is how people have now transferred the idea of that's a bar because it's relatable or they can grasp the concept, right?
Oh man,
that's a bar. Whereas the bar for us growing up is that's a bar. It's like look at how he used the device or how he said this thing. It's like, oh, real G's moving silent like lasagna. That's a bar.
You know, it's crazy. I think this all comes from, and you know, I'm younger, but I've been having this conversation since I feel like I've been in middle school because it feels like since the bar, and it really cracked, not even middle school, it really cracked like in high school. I feel like, and I love the snap era, but it felt like right around 2006 when I came, the bar of what like lyricism or what we wanted from rappers dropped so low, which was fine because I was leaning and rocking too, and my pool palace was butt. But it dropped so low that people started quantifying things I've never like, because it's like I feel like people are so grasping, and like you said, now they're just like, there's some times where I don't know, whatever, bro, I'm gonna just say it. Lil Baby is a rapper, right? Shout out to Lil Baby, he's doing his thing. That is one rapper. I swear to God, people are pretending it be rapping hard. I swear, because people will tell me like that's one person that I kept. There was people be like, "Yo, he like the new Lil Wayne." I remember when he was first dropping, people were literally saying, "I go, okay, let me listen to it," and I go, "Is it because his cadence? Is it because he's going?" But if you listen to what he's saying, it's like.
It's cadence and the statements. Here's what I completely agree with you, and I have articulation for what happened and what that is. Follow me and see if you agree. You have Big L punchline bars, right?
Mm-hmm.
That becomes like the standard of hip hop mid late 90s going into 2000s. It just becomes what they're talking about with the punchlines, because the standard of freestyle New York hip hop was the fabulous. We're going to give you punchlines. We're going to do these mixtapes, but I also have to be like a street dude and a hustler, right? That becomes a standard because of Jay-Z and Biggie, right? Where you take the bars, mix it with the lifestyle, and it becomes that. But the lifestyle, like in any entertainment, has an allure to it. So people are now taking the lifestyle and making sure that lifestyle goes into other forms of lyricism, because I got to take this story, this narrative. I'm saying lifestyle, but narrative is a better word. I got to take this narrative of a hustler, and now I'm a Southern hustler. I am a West Coast hustler. I'm a gangster here. I'm a gangster here. All of these things amalgamate, right? Then like you said, the snap era, the pop stuff's happening, and it's all about representing that narrative. But it's feel good, it's party, it's something. But we still have that narrative in the background. That lifestyle still a visage or image in the background. Then you have Kanye West. Kanye West changes punchlines to the meme almost, where his bars were memes, like the Miracle Whip bar. It's almost a little humor to him. It's a little bit of relatability. It's like it can easily get to many people, because it's like, I have to be the regular dude. I can't just be this thing that's unattainable of being like this kingpin hustler shooters. That's why all the bars are about guns and drugs, right? They're bars, but they're about the same things. When you transfer the bars to the personality of who Kanye West is, that opened up a whole thing in the mainstream, right? At the same time, you have Lil Wayne, who is reimagining the street shit, because he's also just talking about whatever the fuck he's saying. He's a Martian. He's being inventive. So you have two people reinventing on the meme style bar, and you know what I say killed everything from that point, or is it evolved into what Drake implemented into the game, the caption bar. This is something you can write in your captions because you're going to relate to it, or it's going to make me feel cool. It's like, this rhymes and it describes me being on vacation at the beach, or it describes my ex relationship or how I'm single now. It describes all these moments for you, and he implemented that caption bar, and then I think everybody started caption rapping. All these niggas to me rapping captions, nigga. It's about drip too hard. Blah, blah, blah. It's just caption bar. Where because you want to minimize the lifestyle, all this. So you've amalgamated all the shit that came before into just a caption. So I'm the hardest nigga, I'm the flyest nigga, I'm the richest nigga. I also don't like my ex. I'm also, you know what I'm saying? All of those things are now something that a rapper can be, but it's just gotta be a caption that someone else can put on their caption. I can go to like 3 girls Instagrams right now, and it's just gonna be
all
bars, yeah, it's just gonna be these caption bars, and they're not technically great.
Yeah,
they're not similes, they're not entendres. Whereas we would be like being like, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. Like we're gonna be like the little pick a Lil Wayne line or the Miracle Whip line from Kanye. We're thinking of punches. We're thinking of entendres. We're thinking about all this shit. Nobody cares about that. They caption ass niggas now. That's my theory. That's my thought process on it. What do you think about that?
Nah, that's real as hell. The only part of that I feel like I would change is I don't think Drake came out like that. I think something where he did, but I feel like he was more emulating Wayne's style when he first came out with just like the traditional setup punch, first name greatest, last name ever, whatever. That type of just blah, blah, blah. And then I feel like something happened where he did exactly what you said, where he was just like, yeah, we about to just start having like Marvin's Room bars, where it's just like, it's not even to make someone go, it's to be like, oh, I relate. Like that's more like the reaction they're looking for. But yeah, that's true, because I do feel like Wayne came in and brought back the classic punchline style. And a lot of mixtape, that era, that's what everybody was something like something at that era. And then I feel like it kind of changed, but that is true, where I feel like what is a bar or a punch kind of changed. But that's why also I think things like battle rap are important, because they maintain that kind of thing, and they keep that thing, and evolve it, and they keep that thing going, where I feel like also people like Kendrick. Now, where I agree with Lupe is I'm almost on the other side, right? Where I don't put the punches at the end all be all, but I will say if Kendrick maybe would have sprinkled, if Drake would have maybe sprinkled a few more punches here and there in some of these disses, I feel some of this shit hits harder. Because that classics, that punch style, it's like a you know when you watch someone get crossed up in NBA, it's not something you get taught. It's just you always get it's just like a baby will watch that and have a reaction. So that's how
have a screw face.
Yeah, facts. And that's how a good punchline is. So it's like a man, there is something that, because another thing, not to ramble, but another thing, because after the Lupe said that, I had to go watch. I went and listened to some Nas freestyles, and I was like, Nas said in this Rap City freestyle, he said, the wrist froze like the toes on the body in the morgue that was left by the squad. But he made that shit rhyme so crazy. And I was like, nah, you're not telling me this nigga. That's one of the wrist froze like the toes on the body in the morgue that was left by the squad. Come on, bro. You're not doing that, bro.
Bars.
You're not doing that. That nigga got bars. And like Torre said it too, I also don't know exactly what level of punchlining makes you a punchline rapper, because I feel like
punchline rapper was a negative thing at one point.
Yeah.
You remember that era?
Yeah,
because it's like, you're just doing punchlines, because they felt like non sequiturs and you weren't talking about nothing. So people were like,
I remember people saying that about Wayne. Yeah, people were saying that.
Whereas I go into the thing, I think I said this in that video, whereas like the reason why I disagree with the punchline being the highest form thing, but I do agree that it shows that you have a grasp of what emceeing is, right?
Yeah.
You're better You're better than some rapper with the name Little something. Once you start doing punchlines, you're already better because usually those guys just steal other people's punchlines and put them in the flow. You know what I'm saying? Coupe the Color, Akon, freaking Black and White Diamonds, apartheid, Black and White this, apartheid. Like they just take Lil Wayne bars from '07 and then sing them. And now they a rapper, right? Whereas like if you come from our time, that's called biting, nigga. Like he just biting, and nobody cares that people bite anymore because the song slaps. But what I wanted to say about the Nas and Kendrick thing, both of those people they started off most likely doing punchlines and bars in that way. Because if Rakim's your favorite rapper, you're like, oh, I gotta tell stories and say things in a slick way. That's why you're gonna be at Live at the Barbecue saying, when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. Incredible bar.
I'm waving automatic guns at nuns.
Crazy.
People leave that part, and the second part is crazy too.
Crazy. And like you can't get to me. I'm like, you can't get to Eminem without that bar. Like that bar literally birthed MCs. So because the idea of being that imaginative or whatever. So that's the bar that I think birthed all MCs after, like all of us. Then I'm saying, I don't think that if you invented or created that hyperbolic vibe, you're creating other forms of rhetoric. You're trying to do different things. You're like, hey, what if I rap from the perspective of a fucking gun? Like, this nigga's crazy. Like, he's gonna come up with different ways of rapping shit and make the first letter of every word in a bar be a sentence, and then you not even know it. That's the type of shit these niggas is on. And that's the same thing that Kendrick's on, where it's like he's like the nostalgia verse that Dissect famously broken down, where you add up the numbers and it equals the brick that he's talking about, and he's saying that he's a brick and every verse is a brick, so the verse was actually a brick because it's the same number of like the weight of a brick or some shit like that. That's insane. You can't tell me because you said freaking I got 3 guns like this and you're like doing little gun bars that you are better than the person that put that piece of work together. So I think there's levels of
it depends on. I wouldn't just write off. Okay, I would say that's true, but it's also true the other way around. Just because you do like some like, oh no, but you didn't get it. I was actually rapping as the sink. Doesn't mean that it's doper than someone who kicked.
Yeah, but that's freaking. Yeah, but that's dumb.
I'm saying, yeah, but I'm saying that's the. But you're saying the same thing for the gun bar, because not all gun bars are just like, I think the gun's so big, I gotta get in it to use it. That's not. That's like more like.
I'm not saying that. Type of, I'm not saying that all gun bars are not are trash. What I'm saying, or drug bars or whatever, like just saying, okay, Pusha T and Malice are the best example, right? When I heard the simple statement of white slave master souls in my safe, to me, I'm like, that's hella profound, because we've been talking about drugs and money for so long, and nobody said that, and nobody had the like concept to put those things together of like not only the dollar, but the history of Black people in this country to the dollar, to drugs. It makes so much sense. That line is so simple, but it has so much depth to it. Same thing with a gun bar. But if you created the gun bar, this is what I'm trying to say. If you created the gun bar, if you're the first nigga to make a gun bar like a simile, you are, to me, are more profound than the nigga who made a new one. Do you see what I'm saying? A new gun bar. If I say, I can't even think of a gun bar right now, and that's the craziest part. I can't think about it. But if you said, if you were the person who first said that I got guns like the government got or some shit, or I got guns that are big as this, or whatever like that. So you use the simile for your gun bar. But you were the first person to ever do that. We don't know who did that, but let's say you're the first person who made that simile. We're like, oh shit, I never heard somebody say some shit like that. Another person uses a simile to say, I got a gun like bigger than the country or some shit like that. These are the horrible bars that I'm coming up with. Horrible fucking bars. These are like, this nigga's trash. I just can't think of any good bar right now because I don't
Get
like
him out of here, smack.
horrible gun bars. But you make another gun bar reference. It's the same. You're using the same setup, structure, punch as the other guy, but the other guy created the setup, structure, punch of that. He created that. He had the imagination to do that. I'm saying that's the same way as somebody else being like, my whip is blacker than Akon or whatever like that. And I just love bringing up that Akon shit because I think it's fucking hilarious that everyone decided to just start talking about Akon as a shade. It's like, let's just start talking about this nigga when we want to talk about black shit. Let's just talk about Akon. It's like, why the fuck did y'all do this shit? But if somebody goes, if Lil Wayne's the first person to say something the color of Akon, and then some other dude uses Akon for this, that's not creative. You did the same thing that he did. You're using the same base.
But okay, I think what you're saying though, which I agree, is if you're saying something else that's too close to what somebody else said or doing something else, it's not dope. But that's for everything. But I'm saying when I say it depends with the punchlines, I'm just saying assuming that these are like fresh, good punchlines. It's not like you've heard the bar, because it would be like there's been a million people who've rapped as drugs, who's rapped as a perspective of birth. Now, just because you did that does not, just because you're one of the 10 songs doesn't automatically make you better than somebody with a great fresh punchline. Because just the same way you can have a punchline that a bunch of people said, you can have a premise or whatever that a bunch of people have done before. But like I'll say it like this, right?
We're doing a macro versus a micro comparison where it's like, this is a whole verse that this person wrote in a song versus this nigga making this one punch. I don't think you could truly compare those things.
That's not fair. Yeah, it's definitely not fair, but this was I was about to say. There are some times where I'm telling you right now, in one punchline, I can hear 16 of your bars, and I can hear one line from somebody and be like, I take that one. So for instance, one of the greatest punchlines I could think off the top of my head that B Magic, which is just tangent, by the way. Everybody who keeps saying Lupe is wrong for calling B Magic Blue Magic, that's what the B stands for. Anyway, so B Magic said, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this one line is better than a lot of niggas' entire verses. He said, I'll put a couple on your top like a wedding cake. Nigga, when I heard that the first time, I went, because you get it in layers. Like you go, oh, nigga, what? That is so creative. It's just so simple. I'll put a couple in your top like a wedding cake. That shit is crazy. And I've heard niggas spit 32 bars and not make me feel the way that.
Well, you couldn't think of a gun bar, but you knew that bar. You could have.
No, I can think of gun bars. I know. I thought you were trying to think of a gun bar. I can think of gun bars all day. What do you Hitman say? The black glove, rubber grip with the radar chip. I'll come to one of Verb parties with an AR-5 and shoot soon as I get in, like I'm J.R. Smith. Nigga, stop it, bro. Yeah, give me 32 bars. Yeah, rap from the perspective of a sewing needle. Go ahead.
This should be harder than that couple cake shit.
You what?
It'll be harder. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. Let's get down to that. The couple cake shit, to me, it goes back to relatability and concept, right? If you value that type of thing, like the couple on top on a cake, you're like, okay, so I could get the bullet, I could get the actual imagery of a couple on top of a cake, I could get those things all at the same time. But if you don't value the concept like someone else values the concept or the culture, that's not that hot to you. You get what I'm trying to say? Like someone talk about Santa Claus, if you're 6 years old, makes more sense. If you're a 15-year-old girl and I'm saying I like if and you hear a lotto line, that feels like something more to you because the actual concept matters too. You see what I'm trying to say?
But you don't have one, I don't think you have to relate to know like the creativity of that bar. And two, I do agree with you saying that if you have a different perspective of things, then you'll hold different things higher. But by that acumen, then nothing has a standard because, like you said, then nothing should be held to a high standard and nothing should be determinative of what is good.
That's incorrect.
No, because there's always going to be somebody who doesn't value. Okay, so for instance, that same 16-year-old that gets that feels something when Hannah Montana plays doesn't care about the Kendrick Brick stuff. So she could tell you that's whack. So, but that doesn't make it whack. That's why I say by that.
No, I could put a hole in that logic in this. Even if the concept I don't think is relatable, I could actually point out that this is 100% harder to come up with. It is, if you can agree, I hope so, that an entendre is harder to come up with than a simile.
Wait, hold on. I'm so confused because what if she does it just because you think, because what I think what it takes to think of a great punchline, and mind you, I didn't give you the lines to lead up to, I just gave you the actual punch itself.
Yeah.
What I think it takes to think of the difficulty to think of a great punchline is that doesn't, just because you put the word just in front of simile doesn't make simile a simile worse, or doesn't mean, because everything's a scale. Okay, so exactly explain the difference again between an entendre. What is exactly an entendre?
Something having multiple meanings. So like if I
but I put a couple on your top, like a wedding cake is not an entendre if it has multiple meanings.
Yes, I'm not saying, I'm talking about a couple, it has two meanings and it's a simile. What I'm trying to say is that the entendre is the complex part. The simile is not as complex to someone who's not grasping everything. We know
but
that
it's an entendre and a simile.
I'm not talking about that line specifically. I'm asking you the question, do you agree that a simile is less complex than an entendre to write as a writer?
Explain to me. Can I Google exactly what an entendre is? I'm not gonna sit here and pretend because I feel like you can't.
No, that line it has couple on your top, like what is it? Couple on your top, like a wedding,
on your top like a wedding cake.
Right. So that is the surface level meaning is literally putting two people getting married like the plastic on a cake, right? And then the second meaning, that means that's where the entendre is, right? The second meaning is putting two in your head, right? The simile is the driver for that entendre too. So it's a simile and an entendre. It's a double entendre. What I'm trying to say is that the double entendre part is the harder part. Because you could just say, if the same meaning of that phrase is
simile is just like something like something.
Like, yeah. So the simile part is I could say that same line, but just a simile. It's like, I'm gonna put a couple in your head, like I shot you twice.
But doesn't every punch kind of need an entendre and a simile to be a punch?
No.
Like, give me a punch that's just a simile.
I have 10 bathrooms in my house. I can shit all day. That's not even.
That's not a simile, though.
That's not a simile. No, that's what I'm saying. I just put out I told out a punch that.
No, I'm saying
does not have to even have anything.
I'm saying most punches have entendres and similes. Could you give me an example of a punch that's just a simile?
Like if the coupe, my car's black like Akon. That's just
okay.
My car's black like Akon. It's because we're so used to the best bars are similes and entendres. That's the best bars, and those are the ones that hit very hard.
I'm literally sitting here like, okay, I'm trying to make sure. So I'll make sure it is because the car is black like Akon. There's not a double, but is there? No, because Akon is also black, similar to Akon.
Yes.
That's a better way of saying similar to Akon, my car is black.
Similar to Akon, my car is black.
I had to work it out because that's why it's called a simile. Similar to okay.
Yeah. That's a simile.
But a good, so I say the good punchline. So remember, I'm talking about good punch. I feel like we're always going to the worst example of punchlines and then giving great examples. We have to go.
You see, that's what I'm trying to say. The fact that we could say that there's a worst. All I'm trying to communicate.
But there's a worse example of what you're saying too, though.
That's all. That's what I'm trying to communicate. That there's levels. That's all I'm trying to say is that there's levels. It's not a perception. It's not that we think that this person thinks that this is good and this person thinks that this is bad. This person could write about Barbie dolls, but if she's fucking barring the shit up, I'm gonna be like, damn, she's barring that shit up. I don't give a fuck about Barbie dolls and how you enjoy Barbie dolls, but you're barring that shit up. This person's rapping about hustling, but he's barring that shit up. Some niggas rap about rapping and they bar the shit up. The concepts are changing, but we could see the skill is there no matter who's talking. And that's all I'm trying to make apparent is that the skill part of it is the thing that we can recognize level. The other part of lyricism, which is rhetoric, and this is what I'm saying, why I bring up rhetoric. Rhetoric is the rhetorical triangle, ethos, pathos, logos. Rhetoric is how I'm persuading you. How good am I going to persuade you with my credibility? Am I going to persuade you with my emotion? Or am I going to persuade you with logic? That's the part that people can't really put their finger on. They can't explain why we like DMX, why you like who's another, like we said, Kodak Black. We like Kodak Black because we understand his emotion, that he's creatively and uniquely expressing emotion that in other ways that other rappers haven't. And that's his pathos, right? We're like, shit, we can see that. And that's a skill set, or that's a part of lyricism that we're not talking about. That's not technical, it's rhetorical. You grab you catch me? Where I'm saying that the one part that we can actually rate is the technical bar thing. That's the only thing that because we'll listen to a rapper, they ain't got no damn bars. I'm gonna be like, nigga, you ain't got no bars. That's the only thing we can rate in this culture. That's the only thing we can rate. Because obviously you ain't gonna listen to Nikki Giovanni or Langston Hughes' poem and be like, oh, these niggas ain't got no bars. You know what I'm saying?
But
like,
I do believe that even without bars, you can still rate, because I could rate whose poem was better. I could rate which one was, you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe if I just go from literary devices that aren't like similes or other shit, like, you know. But I'm a very debated with
bringing up Langston Hughes and Nick. You can't say that they trash.
You can't. Okay, I heard that. Okay, I heard that. Right. Okay. You can't just. Because that's what I was saying. That was basically my point. Was that the same thing that you? I don't put. Now I love punchlines, and even right here, you even saw I was arguing for the merit of a great punchline. Yeah. But I can't put that as the end all be all. Nobody's gonna fall out of my list because they don't have punchlines. But somebody, if I have to like who's better, if somebody has consistently better punchlines but also has other things on top of that, then I might edge them. The thing, like you're saying, like we can tell if some. But what also it's hard for me to say is what is better, this or this, choose this, because I feel like everything has a whack version and a dope version of it, you know. So it's like nothing is like, to me, because when you ask the question what is harder to write, an entendre or a simile, it was hard for me to answer because I've heard some in that entendre simile, it would be an entendre. But what I was saying more, instead of breaking up to entendre, I'm saying like the more classic good punchline that has an entendre and simile in it. When I'm saying like a punch, what is more difficult to write, like a good punchline or an entendre? That's harder for me to answer. That's kind of what I was speaking to more, because
I think a punchline doesn't have to be, first of all, I think this is true. A punchline doesn't have to be, it could be any rhetorical device. It could be a pun, it could be anything, as long as it's using some sort of device or figurative language, usually, because that's showing how you're creatively speaking about something, right? So you compounding a simile with alliteration, with entendre, and you compounding all that type of shit, that's better, correct? That's all I'm really trying to say is that, like, if
I agree with you. I've agreed with you the whole time with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was saying
So-
more speaking to specifically what Lupe was saying.
of a punch being, that I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. I'm kind of off of the
You be starting, boy.
Green
been dropping videos and causing stir-ups.
I ain't trying to stir up nothing. I like the fact, like I said, we talking about raps. We're talking about raps. And it's like and whoever's watching, hopefully you enjoy us breaking down and talk about these raps. And this is the shit that we would be if we were in the studio making a song together, me and Scru, there'd be 2 hours of us doing what we're doing right now and be like, who's better?
And I'm a peep whatever because Lupe project dropped, right?
Well, it was like a live album.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say when that dropped, I was definitely gonna just react because now I gotta hear something. Like I gotta hear at least one song because now in your part, somebody said now somebody's gonna compare your stuff to GNX, and I think somebody said no, they're not going to. Boy, y'all bugging. Yes, they are. Yes, they absolutely. You don't know the internet like that. Yes, they are waiting. There are people who just don't even know. Like that's why I said with the Lupe stuff, it's just like if you were looking for the internet to come and like it's too rabid. Like they're waiting to just. I think most of them don't even know it dropped. And since it's a live album, but if it would have been a project, there absolutely was going to be waiting for that. Yeah, but
when I responded, no, they wouldn't, because I responded to that shit. I was like, they're gonna wait for GNX or whatever, or they're gonna compare it to GNX. I was like, I'm not, because that doesn't make sense.
No,
especially when Lupe went on record to be like, oh, this nigga makes better art albums than me, and he's better. This is what he said out of his mouth. Why would you compare?
To be fair, what you can compare is the rapping. You can. Like just gonna like we gotta be called spade a spade. If you use all that stuff is true. If you come out and be like that album wasn't better than GNX, you weren't listening. If you come out and be like the production wasn't as good as GNX, you weren't listening. If you say all them other things, you weren't listening. The rap stuff.
You can always compare raps. That's my point.
Especially with the conversation that was being had, because now obviously that's what. But now the Nas fans and the Kendrick fans are just wait till you drop, nigga.
Now I love Lupe. About that.
I can rap Lupe verses word for word. I told you I was so up screaming now F and F to the world blow. I could like people don't know how much I kind of wanted because when Lupe was doing his tour. His podcast tour, I didn't know. I was like, man, do I had a conversation? Because that's why I felt like as somebody who respects Lupe, man, like I still listen to All Black Everything to this day. I'm one of the Lasers apologists, like low key, but I kind of want to talk to him, but after a while, it just became a circus. I was just like, I don't even know what I'm gonna say and what he's gonna, because at this point I feel like he just got to not do no more of them, because like you said, he the articulation sometimes of what his points are isn't the greatest with the way that he says it, and maybe that's just the way he's not.
And people don't want to hear certain things because of their bias. And sometimes he might have his own bias. So when you put out a bias and then people have a bias, you're attacking these things. And that's why even when I make certain shits, I try to think about things unbiasedly as much as I can, or I present them as, I have a bias. I think that this person is the best. So I value what this person does more, so that I'm going to do that. It's just that simple for me in like how I see things. Like I'm making a video about Eminem, and I'm like, I need to make this video about Eminem because the weird conversations to me about Eminem and his newer music versus his older music or whatever, and people saying like, oh, this is too technical and all this type of stuff, like it erases who he is and what he's done. That to me is weird as shit. Like I don't, especially if you're moving on to a different space. It's like, why would I make Marshall Mathers or Slim Shady again, 2 classic albums? Like he doesn't need to do that. Like, why would you need to even do that? Whereas some people, and then he moves into this different space, and then what he also means to the culture, where people are like, oh, these people don't listen to Eminem and all that. I just have a whole. There's a great video that I love that on YouTube called "The Eminem Size Hole Left in America." That's a dope ass video. And
bruh, I've been saying for a long time, right? And it's not the Eminem. I have this theory. It's called "What Happened to the Good Wholesome Whites?" What happened to the Blink 182?
It's what happened to the cool white guy.
Yeah, and you got to remember too. Here's the crazy part, because when you say the good wholesome whites, people be like, "Oh, because they were around white people all the time." No, if you go back to like those old MTV things, it would be like NSYNC, Method Man, and Redman. It was like, no, there's something that happened, and I think it was like with that. They said something about that in that Eminem size. I watched that video, and the Eminem size hole where it's like now there's like a vitriol sometimes, and it feels like there's so much more defending of stuff and fighting.
Well, they went to MAGA. It's like all the energy of it's counterculture, all the energy of white counterculture that was pointing towards Eminem because he was the cool white guy. It's like, oh shit, he represents us, he represents our angst, all that energy went to MAGA.
Yeah.
So MAGA became the alternative white guy, the cool white guy, where they're not cool. That shit ain't cool at all. Ain't cool. Ain't even cool to them. Like it's not. So now you've lost that perspective. And I think that what happened is that there's intention and impact, right? There's what Eminem was trying to say, and then the impact of what it had on people. Yeah. And the issue is that I think that the mainstream society didn't grasp what Eminem was doing when he was being Eminem the first 2 albums. That's why
I'm sorry, I have to say, to this day, I got this thing where it's like, because I used to do a lot of Eminem content. I'm a big Eminem fan. Well, of his older stuff, which is why I was going to kind of speak to what he's saying. But there is this thing where I feel right at like the R albums, Eminem's like fan base got hijacked. It got hijacked. And where I started finding like, and it's true because when Eminem did that Trump freestyle, he himself said I lost a big percentage of fans. And I went, bro, in 2002, he would not have lost one fan. Why were there so many of those people in your fan? That's why I went, there was something that happened, because I've had arguments where people have said stuff about, they're supposed to be Eminem stans. They say something about Eminem. I go, no. Perfect example. When Lord Jamar came out and said Eminem's a guest in hip hop,
Lord Jamar,
and the stands came out, he was saying like, he a head ass nigga. But when he said Eminem's a guest in hip hop, I remember covering that, and the way that the stands had vitriol to him, and it almost felt racial because it was a racial conversation, but it started feeling weird. And then I was even in my videos going, bro, Eminem would absolutely, positively say he's a guest in hip hop. He said it before.
And he did say that.
Yeah, and then when he came, I was like, yeah, I'm a guest. They were just like, where I go, there becomes a point in a rapper or an artist becoming so big, and it becomes around the point when their stands start taking over, where the snake eats its tail, and they're no longer listening to the rapper. They no longer represent the rapper. The rapper represents them. It's their identity now. So it could be like Eminem saying, since I'm not the first king of controversy, I am the worst thing since Elvis Presley to use black music so selfishly and use it to get myself wealthy. Hey, here's a concept that works. 20 million other white rappers emerge, but no matter how many fish in the sea, it'll be so empty without me. Would you believe that I've had conversations with Eminem stans that be like, well, why do you have to say hip hop is black music? I swear to God. You think I'm joking? I swear to God. I've had arguments like, why do you say it's black music? What?
And that's because the perception of white America changed over time. The politics, and that to me, I have a whole nother video and idea that I want to do with that. That comes with the binary thought process that was implemented in our lives. I think that
you're getting deep with it.
Yeah, the that perspective of what a white America was changed over time. because it's like, yeah, it's like, yes, we're the dominant society. Then it became, wait a minute, no, we're oppressed. Never in the history of us growing up did white people go around thinking they were oppressed.
Bro, I swear to God, I didn't start having the conversations of why can't I say the N-word until the internet. Like that was such a foreign. I was like, what do you mean? Why can't I say? There are still white people online will be like, well, why can you say? Like, I swear to you, that is like such a thing where I go like, what happened to y'all? Y'all used to just be cool. Man, and then here's the thing too with a lot of because I grew up, like I'm a millennial and I'm like in the middle where it's like I grew up outside, but then I also grew up with a lot of the internet. And I remember the people that I grew up, the white boys that I grew up with, if you said nigga, they on you before I'm on you. Like they're on you before I'm on you. They're not even going. I got this homie who not
white Mike
playing that shit. He not playing that shit. And you would think it's like, oh, so he like super thugged out? No, nigga. No, this is a very
he was just rapping.
Yeah, skater type. He gonna hit you with a skateboard for saying that shit. But now it's like I've had so many arguments where it's like, well, why can I say it? Is Trump really that bad? I mean, you guys do complain a lot. It's just like maybe because I'm getting older, but it's just like, God damn, I don't remember.
It's not because you're getting older. Those ideas got implemented into their brains by algorithmic binary thought process, because something has to be this or that. It can't be a gray area. So if things can't have a gray area, you don't have counterculture. You just have two ways of thinking. You don't have, like, you know what I'm saying? You had the hippies, right? And then you had the, before that, the beatniks, the hippies, the punks, the hip hop. You had all these different forms of counterculture,
grunge
right?
Was in there too. Yeah,
grunge, all these different things, and those things got amalgamated and then used to be, it's either this or that. They're binary. It's either yes or no. It's either you hate these people or you love these people. You had to move into a space of, same thing with Kendrick. You have to hate Kendrick or hate Drake. You have to, Lupe says something, you got to hate Lupe, you got to hate. So things can't be nuanced because of binary thought process that's been implemented into our culture.
And
whereas that's not how we thought about that shit. Huh?
It's so bad now, and as we're both like, you know, like basically like talking heads, we do this stuff and we get it's getting so bad, bro. Even from when I first started doing reactions, you know, there's always been stan culture, but it's gotten so bad now. It's almost like you have to remind somebody. I've had to remind people that, bro, I can think what you said is absolutely stupid and still like you, or I can like you at one point. You do something and I no longer like you. These are foreign concepts now. Like, these are people like, wait, but in 2017 you liked him and then he did so, and then now you don't like him in 2026. It's like, yo, stan culture has fried your brain where you can't even fathom somebody changing their mind after somebody does something. That is crazy.
Mutually exclusive as a term doesn't exist. Like, they're 100% that, and like they're just trying to hold you to one thing and the another thing.
It's gotcha. Everybody, that gotcha culture.
Gotcha shit is crazy. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because somebody did make a TikTok about me who was literally saying this thing where it's like, yo, it was like Scru used to like Drake, and then he stopped liking Drake, and I was like, oh, it's almost like something happened,
like,
and I don't like him anymore.
Yeah. nigga, there's nobody who there's very few. I'm not gonna say nobody because that you can't be hyperbolic, right?
Yeah,
there's very few people who haven't liked a Drake song. The nigga has 1 million hits.
I grew up in, you guys.
We all listen to Drake songs and enjoy Drake
shit. Yeah, right when I started driving, I was sneaking out chasing bitches. That was my dog.
But just like my video, I can't listen to Iceman, hear him saying I just killed a whole bunch of rappers when you just lost a whole fucking battle.
And then
you didn't kill shit.
I told people specifically, it's like, bro, once you can go back and track it. Yeah, I was roasting Drake and making jokes and da-da-da-da. Bro, there's people forget, like, I was, even when I was roasting Drake's fashion, but there was a picture where I made fun of Kendrick too. I was like, he's dressing crazy too. So I'm just roasting. This is what I do. But what now I forgot the original point. What was I saying? I'd be doing that. The Kendrick shit got the close it threw me off, but it's just like people don't understand that. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. When Drake sued, that to me, and I feel like if people know me and know how I feel about battle rap, that was the end rap. That was the ultimate violation. And to me, anybody can listen to Drake. I don't care. Like I don't care about that, right? But I did find it weird that there weren't more people. I feel like later on people started being like, oh, that's crazy. But like, that is something that I think is the most insane thing that a nigga's doing. And people are like, yeah, but like, we gonna still listen to him. It's like, that's one thing. I'm not telling nobody, but that's why I have a genuine problem, because I do have a bias and it's hip hop. So when you're suing hip hop, which that's what you're gonna do if this goes through, then
some people don't see it as suing hip hop, and because they don't grasp it.
But here's the thing that's crazy: they do grasp it. They're just trying to not grasp it, because what they'll go, oh, I don't understand this concept of it being hip hop. I mean, he's suing hip hop because it's too extravagant. I'm just seeing him suing Not Like Us and UMG. But then they will listen to a conspiracy theory about that's so intricate about how Rock Nation and it's like, nah, bro, you don't have the thinking capacity to go, yeah, and but then be like, I don't see how Drake suing this might set a legal precedent that might hurt
because they academics niggas. Like if you can't, all these academic niggas is just who they is. Like if you're gonna follow these things, that's that stand culture shit. But I'm gonna go get me some dinner. This shit's been an amazing conversation in hip hop. We got
shout out to the good wholesome whites. I still rock with y'all, man.
Come back.
I still rock with y'all.
I've been seeing a lot of rock bands come out of nowhere. I'm fucking with it. I seen new rock bands.
But see, here's the problem. It ain't just because they rock. I gotta make sure. Let me check their tweets. Make sure wasn't a nigga here or something. That's what always. Every time there's like a new white rapper or something, that's what I do. I go to Twitter. I type in their act.
You search for their history.
And search for nigga.
What if they changed?
And here's my thing too. Just because you tweeted nigga ain't gonna make me. If you tweeted nigga in 2012, I'm not gonna be like cancel this nigga. My antenna's definitely gonna be up though.
My thing.
Because you a nigga saying.
Here's my thing. How I operate as if everybody said nigga.
Yes.
and then I'm like, you ain't gonna fool me. All you niggas say nigga. And
I think that's most niggas. I think most niggas just assume.
I assume every person, black, white, Asian, is like, I know you said nigga at some point.
Yeah, you've been in the car, definitely listening to 99 Problems. Stop it, nigga. You did my nigga drive, and you ain't say nigga in the car.
You didn't say that shit.
Toyota by yourself? All right, okay.
I assume all these niggas say nigga. But
just don't call me nigga, boy. And don't let me catch you saying.
Don't be bold. Don't be bold saying this shit and obviously say it in the way. But no, I'm saying like I'm in my brain. I already checked all these niggas. In my brain, I'm like, I know that all y'all niggas did this shit.
Not to keep this here forever, but I gotta say this because I don't be getting a chance to be talking to another person. I'll be just talking to myself on recording. But you know what's the craziest thing about sometimes white people's the ones who, and I'm not saying all white people not. When I'm speaking this, I'm not talking about all white people. We know who we talking about, but it's the people to be like, why can't I say nigga, or why y'all so sensitive because you can't say nigga? The thing that throws me off is they forget that there's a bunch of
talking to that saying this shit.
Oh yeah, you don't be on Twitter. See, yeah, I was not gonna say. See, yo, you, because I'll be on Elon's Twitter, nigga. That'd be the
okay. So that's where
that'd be the problem. Yeah, no, but this be the problem is, or if you've ever seen like, I've seen the conversations on YouTube too, where it'd be like white people or coons who would be like, I think black people are too sensitive about the word nigga. You've seen that conversation. You've seen it, but
I tend to not put myself in those spaces. But I feel
even if I don't put myself, the thing that's ironic to that is not giving the courtesy that everybody has slurs they can't say. Why is it that the nigga? Because I can't. We don't walk around just saying other people's slurs. We're not saying the one about
or saying LGBT slurs against women or how
or that's what I'm saying. There is everybody is watching what they're saying. Why is it when I ask you not to say nigga, you go, but hold on. Are you being sensitive?
Because they're racist.
Yeah, that's
I mean, it's just
like,
that
bro,
simple. That's why
everybody seems to get it. Like,
I just don't entertain that conversation because I know where it's coming from. It's like
facts.
it's not like that person's coming from a place of actually trying to learn.
Genuine,
Why would I
yeah.
have a communication with that person? If someone was actually trying to learn, like say someone's from like freaking Eastern Europe and they come over here and they're like, wait, so I can't say it, or this is how it's good, or I don't really understand. They literally just learning the language.
Yeah.
That you could hear and feel that person not understanding what's going on, versus if you have the damn internet and you've were exposed to black culture, nigga, you know what's good. Like, get the fuck out my face with that shit.
I just had to point that out because, well, I bet you there's people in the chat who be like, no, I've heard niggas saying, why can't I say it? Or, what? Oh, you're being sensitive. I bet you there's niggas right now like, nah, Scru ain't tripping. They be bold.
I bet you they have. I'm saying that I don't put myself in places where someone's going to talk to me like that. Why can't I say it? Like, what the fuck? Like, nigga, you ain't talking to me like that. Like, I ain't never heard that. No one's ever asked me why can't I say it in my life.
That's nuts, bro. I gotta figure out the algorithm.
You gotta switch your shit up.
Man.
You need to get the fuck off Elon Musk Twitter.
I tell myself all the time, then I try to be like, man, let me get on this thread.
It's because you got all that clout on Twitter. You're like, I can't leave the clout.
Is they still gonna love me, man? Is they still gonna love me? Yeah.
What the fuck is with you YouTubers and loving Twitter so much? Y'all niggas love Twitter.
There's something about the Twitter to YouTube pipeline. It's just real solid. I don't know. It may be because it's just like they grandfathered Twitter in, because every time it's like threads, the new ones, the blue skies, they don't stick. Like, I don't even think IG sticks as hard as Twitter. And I think it's because we talk. So people want to talk back to us. Like, they want to hear us talk more than like look pictures. You know what I mean? That's my theory.
It's because there's ideas there, and ideas are stronger than anything else. But
I'll be trying to go to threads, man. I'll be trying. But
I be on when I want to put out an idea, when I want to talk shit about this World Cup and Argentina cheating against Egypt, I go to threads. My algorithm is mostly people that think like me. Echo chamber.
Oh no, the threads echo chamber is fire, nigga. I be going to threads.
I love that
to
shit.
Purify my fucking eyeballs sometimes. Just a couple
just
scrolls
that think the way I think.
Yeah. Couple scrolls. I'm like, all right, okay. The world isn't okay. All right.
My Facebook, like I got on Facebook because of my band and all that type of stuff. Every single place is different. YouTube is like so much shit and different perspectives, and every platform for me is like a different perspective. Whereas like, if I just want to be black and around black niggas, threads.
Yep. Or people who love black people. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah.
You feel very warm in there. But Twitter, sometimes maybe I just also like to fight a little bit. I like the come here. Yeah, like the.
I think Twitter, because of your following and how Twitter works, it can expose you to a different shit. And a lot of people who watch you are not just black people watching you and agreeing with being black and shit like that. You make videos about all types of shit so people can enjoy your content.
They better, nigga. I love it. Every time I make like a super duper, and it's also crazy to me. It was like, bro, I hate this thing where it's like, yeah, I do have 1 million subscribers. I am big, so obviously I'm gonna have everybody. But if you don't think I'm a super pro-black militant type, like, no, nigga, I'm not one of these people who's gonna. I know YouTubers will be like, I don't want to say if I don't support Trump because fuck that nigga. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I give it up every time.
I feel like my existence and my perspectives on other things reflect my political standpoint, and like musically narratives and things that I write about and shit like that. Like, I'm working on a project that's going to be like these visuals that I'm making and these videos that I've been making, as well as music. It's called How to Rap in America. And it's like, it's going to have my politics involved. It's going to have how I feel about hip hop in it. And I feel like when you make your art and your videos are art too. When you're making your art, you're putting yourself in that shit. So people could kind of grasp the perspective. So it's like needing to say fuck, like I'm past saying fuck Trump. It's like how do we he's like,
that shit makes my teeth
how do we actually do some shit? It's like,
we stay black and stay cautious, nigga. Lock down for these next 3 years. Ain't shit finna, nigga. Stay black and stay Arsenal the Rebel. The hardest bar. Let's give you another battle rap nigga. He said, they asked me what I gotta do now that Trump's back in office. I told him not do shit, but stay black and stay cautious.